Well, hello, football fans, and welcome to this edition of the Billy Skinner Lamar Viking Football Coaches Show. I'm Bill Frawley, and with me, as always, of course, head Viking football coach and Lamar athletic director, Billy Skinner. Coach, how are you today?
I am living my best life. It is officially hoodie season for me, so uh, things are great.
Yeah, who would have thunk 4 weeks ago we'd be sporting hoodies and getting wishing to be warmed up.
Yeah, I'm super fired up about it. Hoodies are like my favorite thing to wear, but I can't be like our kids. Like these kids around here, they wear hoodies when it's 106 and they got the hood on, and like it's I can't do all that. I'm not cool enough for it, so I got to wait
And
for
then
the actual cold
and
weather.
then they'll wear shorts to school when it's 34
Oh yeah,
degrees too.
yep, yep.
I remember forcing my sons to wear, or at least carry a coat into Butler Elementary School so the teachers didn't call CPS on me for sitting in school in shorts and no coat. But anyway, we digress. Well, hey, I'm coming to you this morning from Charlotte, North Carolina. That's the actual skyline behind me. I'm at my son Charlie's apartment building, and they've got a really cool outdoor observation deck. So, a different place today yet. So,
I'm telling, best traveled show around.
I think so. And I'm trying to play with the sun hitting only half my face at times. So, well, let's get down to it. So, I was out of town again this past Friday night looking at this Dave Campbell's Friday night scores. And I logged in at one point and I saw it was 7-4. And I thought, did they break out baseball equipment and start playing baseball? Tell me about the first two scores of the game for Lamar being safeties, please.
Yeah, we I wanted to be really, really aggressive and try to get up and score touchdowns down in the red zone. And so both of those plays happened when we were stopped on fourth down trying to go in and score, but Grand Prairie got the ball on the 2 yard line and on the 1 yard line. And our defense, I mean, just absolutely played lights out in that situation. We had guys like Damian Brown getting their hands on offensive linemen and then shedding and getting into the backfield and then creating huge plays. And so we got two safeties um, as our first points, which was awesome.
Yeah, some people don't get two safeties in a season, let alone in one game. But that really set the tone as far as the defense goes. And let's don't short sell the offense because they did get down inside the red zone to the 2 and 1 yard lines, like I said. So they were moving the ball aggressively.
Yes, no doubt about it. So I think our defense might have talked to the offensive guys and said, "Hey, let us get a couple of safeties this week." And so the offensive guys, they relented. They said, "Sure."
Okay. Well, it looked like the passing game was pretty efficient. I saw Gannon carry stats. He was very efficient, over 200 and something yards passing and a good completion rate.
Yes, he's doing a good job of distributing the football. We've got some playmakers all over the field, and he knows that if he just gives one of those guys an opportunity, they have a good chance of making somebody miss and going and doing some things. So he does a great job of playing point guard for us and getting the ball into people's hands quickly.
And we've talked about this before, being able to evenly distribute the ball, either passing or rushing. And I'll tell you, Coach, it really stood out to me since I wasn't able to see the game live or in any other way. Then looking at the stats and seeing, wow, okay, who had the big yardage catching or rushing? And Yancey had over 110, about 118 yards receiving. But it really says something when there's so many people touching the ball and it's not just one person necessarily doing it all.
No doubt about it. And people think, okay, balance means you run the ball 50 times and then you pass the ball 50 times. But really, for us, the balance is getting the ball into different playmakers' hands in different positions. And so, um, even if we're throwing quick screens or we're throwing out to Yancey and he's making some guys miss, that's just an extension of our run game. And so that's kind of what our offense is all about. We talk about get a brother in a game and let a brother do his thing. We want to get those guys the ball on the perimeter. We want to get those guys on the ball or get the ball to those guys on the inside and let them do what they do. And our guys have done a really good job with those opportunities.
And we can also see let a sister get the ball and get into the game.
Yeah,
And
no doubt
Isabella
about it.
Nicholson was 3 out of 4 on extra points, I believe.
Yes, that's right. She's doing a great job.
Well, that's got to be exciting for her and for the whole team. Again, everyone just very cohesive on all that type of effort. Um, Coach, what would you say were some of the strongest points that you saw, and where are the most needs for improvement
Yeah.
in that varsity game coming up for this next week?
Yeah, I think you just hit on one, just the distribution of the football and guys when their numbers called, no matter what the situation is, making those plays. So, we're on a 4th and 7 situation, and we run a pass to Greg Peoples, and I mean, Gannon knew he was going to make the play, gave him an opportunity, put the ball on the spot, and Greg did a great job of getting his hands underneath it and making the most critical catch of the day so that we can run the clock out. I was very, very pleased with that. I was pleased defensively with how aggressive our guys were whenever we had them backed up. I think that, we've probably got one of the hardest playing defenses around. And so anytime our guys are out on the field, defensively, it's exciting to watch. I know a lot of people have paid close attention to those guys. As far as areas to improve, obviously we've got to get better on special teams, and a big piece of that is me. Punt team, we went for it on 4th down, and it was a bad look. I should have called a timeout. I should have taken a penalty, but I just went with it. So I'm still improving on some things, and then obviously we gave up a kick return for a touchdown in a critical juncture, which gave them a bunch of momentum. And then we came back the next special teams play and ended up giving the ball back to them to really get them going. So we've got to clean some things up specials wise. Other than those 3 things on specials, we actually had a decent day, but we can't afford to struggle on those units. So that's going to be a big emphasis for us this week.
Gotcha. Well, if you don't mind, let's shift gears and talk about JV and freshman games. They had some interesting schedules. And as you said last week, I used the word distractions. You said no, it's disruptions.
Yep.
Like the PSAT, and then each sub-varsity team, like Gold playing one opponent, Navy playing the other. Do you mind walking us through how everything went overall?
Yes. So last week the Lamar Vikings went 5-0, which was very, very exciting. I'll start with the freshmen. Coach Williamson, Coach Harris, and myself, we took the freshman gold team over to Irving MacArthur. All 3 of us actually worked at Mac before we came here to Lamar, so it was cool to go back and see some of those kids that were freshmen when we were there, and they're seniors now. So getting to see them, and then getting our gold team some action, and they went out and got a 20-0 win, which was very exciting. And just the effort that those guys play with. We have a kid named London Segal who had 2 touchdowns, 2 touchdown catches, and Ryan Smith was dealing the ball. He was doing a good job of running the ball. So that was a lot of fun for us. That was a lot of fun for me personally, because believe it or not, I don't get to coach a lot of football. And so whenever I do get to go out and coach a little bit, it's a good time. And then our freshman Navy team went over to Grand Prairie and really took care of business emphatically. So they came away with a 49-0 win. Those kids just keep answering the call each week. We tell them that we challenge them each week to be better than the week before, and they did a great job with it again. Our JV Navy team took on Grand Prairie, and again, it's the same deal where we ask those kids to continue to improve week after week. And they're on a little bit of a win streak now, so they take on Grand Prairie, and I think we end up winning 51-14, something like that. And had big outing by Seven Ogletree. I mean, that guy, he's a kid that does everything we ask him to do in our program, and he had a big game. And then our JV gold team versus Arlington High, they got the primetime slot. We got to play at 7:30, and they got after it. I think it was 22-6, 20-6, something like that. So big wins for everybody in the program. I was very, very pleased with our sub varsities. I'm so glad that they're starting to get that success that they worked so hard for during the week.
It's really come together for all those teams in both at the JV and freshman levels. And like you said, seeing it all come together, because they've been working hard ever since, fall drills right before school started. And again, those freshmen coming together, 2 schools feeding into one and becoming cohesive. And then, of course, JV evolving some out of freshmen, some still JV, and making everything work together. Coach, this just hit me as we were talking. I remember years and years ago, before I had sons that were in high school, and I'll admit this, I used to think, oh, it's a freshman game or JV game. And I wouldn't pay that much attention to it. And I think it really hit me when my son Charlie started playing freshman football, and then David, and realized, wow, this is exciting football to come watch. And I guess what I'm trying to point out is if there's people out there, you don't have a son or a daughter in the program, come out and watch these freshman and JV games because they're exciting. They're shorter quarters, but you're seeing the up and coming talent and the development that you get to see through the season.
You hit it right on the head too. You get to see the future of Lamar football when you come to those games, and I'm telling you, there's a lot to be excited about on all of those teams. There's a lot to be excited about, from players to schemes to all those things. It's a lot of fun to watch.
Definitely so. Well, as you look forward to this week coming up, of course, you always say we're going to focus on doing what Vikings do best.
Yep.
What are some of those things? You've mentioned special team. What are some of the other things you're going to say, okay, here's what we do best, but we still need to fine tune or improve upon?
No doubt. We have one theme this week. There's one thing that you're going to see from our Sports U. You're going to see on our social media. You're going to see our kids break out. It's just 48. The theme this week is we've got to be relentless for 48 minutes. I think this year we've done a good job of playing some quarters or playing a half or playing 3/4 of a football game, but we've got to put together 48 strong minutes. And so everything we do this week within practice, everything we do with our walkthroughs, everything's going to have that 48 emphasis. Specifically during those times, we've got to be great tacklers. They run. They've got a great scheme over at Arlington High, and they've got some kids that do a really good job running the football. They got some kids that are dangerous on the outside, and so you've got to come up and you've got to be great tacklers. Fundamentally, we're gonna make sure we're harping on those things. Offensive line wise, we've got to make sure we're picking up what they do defensive line wise, and so we're gonna always beat up the fundamentals. We're always gonna work on the mundane things, but we're gonna have kind of that Zoom 48-minute focus daily this week, and that's going to be the difference for us. That's going to be the key for us is that 48 is it's on everybody's mind. I'm not sure our kids even understood that, hey, 48 means that there's 12-minute quarters. There's 4 of those. 4 times 12 equals 48. So we're just making sure our kids understand we got to play all 48 of them.
That's the academic part of student athletes, that multiplication.
No doubt. Yep.
4 times 12. I had to sit there. No, I'm just kidding. So, obviously coaches drill into their minds, motivate, play the entire game, the last 12, all 48.
Yeah.
I'm sure the players do some of that on the sidelines, pumping each other up. How important is for the crowd to stay in it through that final 12 minutes or the whole 48?
Oh, it makes the biggest impact on our kids, because when they hear the roar, I mean, it does something to you. Like it gets those chemicals going in your head. It gets you going, and you're fired up and you're ready to go. When it goes dead silent, that does something to you. And so there's no doubt that our families, our crowd, the noise that you guys make in the stands, it makes a huge difference to our kids. And so things going good, things going bad, we always need that support. We need it from each other, and we also need it from the stands.
That was on my mind because this past Saturday, I was in Knoxville, Tennessee, watching my Aggies try their hardest but get outscored by the Tennessee Volunteers. But Coach, that stadium had at least 104,000 fans in it. They had this orange and white checkerboard they do once a year. That crowd, just like when I'm at Kyle Field watching the home Aggies play, loud, loud, loud. And that's what makes me think, I don't care if there's 104,000 or 4,000 fans, the fans need to be a part of that game and give that home field advantage.
No doubt. It makes a huge difference for all involved.
Okay. Well, what is the schedule for this week coming up then?
All right. I think we're a little bit more conventional this week. So Arlington High has 2 freshmen, 2 JV teams. So freshmen will be here Thursday. The gold team will go back to their regular time slot at 5:30. The Navy team will play at 7 o'clock here at Cravens. JV will be at Arlington High, and that Golds team will go at 5:30, and the Navy team will be at 7. And then we kick off Friday night. It's our pink out game, and we kick off at 7 o'clock.
So everybody support Breast Cancer Awareness Month and wear your pink to show support for that, but as well as solidarity for the Viking community.
No doubt about it. And one of the things we do for our kids, and in fact, I'm glad you and I are talking about it now. I've got to post a link on Sports U. I think it's important to help support the research and all of those things. So if our kids are going to wear pink this week, one of the things I ask is that they make a donation to the Susan G. Komen Foundation. And so I'll post that link, and we want to go and we want to show our support, but I also want our kids to show their support in any way that they can, financially as well, just because, there's a reason behind the pink, and I want our kids to understand that.
Yes, sir. Okay. Anything else you'd like to say about any of the other athletic teams at Lamar right now?
Oh, I've got to shout out our cross country team. Coach Camp has been doing such a great job of growing that program. This year, our boys varsity team, they made it to the area or the regional round from district. Cooper Schutte had a great showing. He did such a good job, and that team is going to get to go to regionals. And they finished third place. Our boys finished third place, which is huge. And then our girls, after the last couple of years, our numbers have been going up. We finished fourth place with our girls at the district meet, and that was incredible. It was cool to see Isabella Mickelson, so one of ours, see her cross the finish line for the varsity group and be a part of that, making sure that those girls are having some success. And so very cool to go out and watch our cross country teams compete, and it's so awesome to see that program headed in the right direction. So kudos, Coach Camp. Kudos to our cross country team.
Well, I remember watching my sons. I hate to keep bringing them up too much, but that was my link to cross country. They each ran cross country at times. And again, fan support's important. I mean, you get to see them come by, and then it's a winding course. You can go see them at another spot also usually, but it's so important to support those athletes as well. And, you just think, okay, they're going out and running a couple of miles or whatever it is, but man, they train so hard. You see them running up and down Davis Drive and all the other effort that goes into that. It's very important to support their efforts.
They're gutsy. I'm telling you. Now, here's what I will tell you. If you have not been to a cross country meet, for my beginners, don't stand at the finish line. I'm telling you, if you're squeamish, don't stand at the finish line, because again, that's hard on their bodies. They're pushing themselves. If you stand too close on the to the finish line, you might be in the splash zone. I saw a couple of vomiters, so you got to be careful.
but also those midpoint spots, that's where they need some encouragement. Keep going,
no doubt.
Push hard.
Yep.
All right, any other athletic events to bring up?
I believe our girls volleyball team, we're taking on Arlington High at Arlington High tomorrow. I need to confirm that with Coach Woodman. I believe that's what it is, because they had Grand Prairie on Friday, so it should be at AHS on Tuesday. So I want to get as many people out there as possible to go cheer on our girls. And
those are exciting, fun sets and matches to watch.
They're great matches, absolutely.
Definitely so. Well, any plugs for sports drinks or Booster Club in general?
All of the above. So if you've heard our call for Gatorade, calling again, please send donations in and come say hi to me. Come give me a high five and drop off some Gatorade so that our kids can refuel after these games.
Okay. Well, Coach, anything else to add before we close it off for this week?
It's Monday morning. It's time to get back to work.
I understand. Well, I fly home today after 11 days out, and I'm looking forward to seeing my dogs and being back in North Arlington, and really looking forward to announcing some games Thursday evening and being back in the broadcast booth on Friday evening for that big varsity game versus the Colts. So until next time, I'm Bill Frawley with head Viking football coach Billy Skinner saying VFND.
VFND.